Hi, welcome to your social media marketing class. My name is Benga Onolaja, and I will be taking you through the fundamentals of social media marketing and everything involved in making your brand shine on social media. In the module, we are going to cover social media essentials, basically all the things you need to know about social before diving into it as a brand. We'll be looking at how you can use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and how you can build and manage your community on social media. For social media fundamentals, we look at the basics of social media, of course, the importance of organic social media marketing, platform principles, and then how to use hashtags. These are really key to making sure that your brand get exposed to your audience and other audiences that you might be interested in connecting with. But first, what is social media? This is how I like to define it. It's the process of gaining attention and building relationships with customers through social networks that exist, and the ones that you already know, the Facebook, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, and Instagram, and the new ones that are coming up daily. Although our focus for this class will be Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, know that most of the concepts that we discuss here can also be applied to other platforms that exist across the world. And the way I really like to look at social media is that it is an evolving conversation with the people who experience your brand with one objective, which is to get them to buy from you on the long run, not just to see your brand, but to believe enough in your brand to actually consume what you're selling, either a service or a product. So why do you want to use social media platform? Well, one of the answers to that is the fact that every brand these days are using social media platforms. But why is everyone else there? Is really the question that you want to be asking. And one is that you can use it to cultivate authentic relationship with your customers. Usually, when customers congregate online, they are sharing their most authentic selves. And by connecting them at the point where they are relatively vulnerable, you can then be able to connect with them in a very authentic way. It can also allow you to be flexible in your communication because social media is not as stiff a platform. People are having fun on social media and they are speaking in such a way that is very open and honest. And as a brand, you can tap into that by speaking the same tone that they speak and truly just connecting with them in a very natural environment. You can also get quick feedback on products and services from your audience. What this means is that if you have a big following on social media, you can easily ask them questions about the things that you're doing in your company and they can quickly give you feedback. Now, here's a good example. Say you're trying to build a new feature to your product. Say you have an e-commerce store and one of the things you want to begin to do is to do drone delivery. One of the things you could ask, for instance, is would you be open to drone delivery in some parts of Lagos? Say, let's say Ikorodu, would you be open to us delivering your product to you via drone in Ikorodu? And asking questions like that, of course, would inspire lots of good feedback and not so good feedback. For instance, one might ask you, oh, what are the chances of a drone flying from your headquarters to my very far house in Ikorodu? But the thing is, you're going to get feedback and you're going to get people's polls on this. Also, something you're able to do with social is to have a simple and affordable platform to reinforce your brand story. You can post every single day on social media and it's not going to cost you anything, right? Compared to if you have to say go to a radio station to get your brand hyped or do something else. So social media is very simple, very affordable, and when you know the right things to do, you can really win with social media. Now, at the core of your social media marketing is your brand story. Now, your brand story is not the history of your brand, it's not the founding story. What it is the narrative that encompasses the truth and feelings that are inspired by your brand. It's not your mission statement or anything grand. It's usually the constantly evolving perception that your communication inspires. What you're saying on social media is giving your audience a certain vibe, a certain understanding of your brand. And oftentimes, when you know what this is, you can easily reinforce this. You can easily reinforce that with your communication. And you're probably asking, why is your brand story important? One of the things that it allows you to do is to be consistent in what you say and how you say them, regardless of what platform you're using. Regardless of what platform you're using, you can be able to tell the same story and be able to inspire the same reaction from your audience. Now you're probably wondering, brand story is still a bit complex. I'll give you some good examples of really good brands with great brand stories. Think of GT Bank, which is a local bank in Nigeria that is focused on millennials. And one of the things that they position themselves as is to be an avant-garde brand that is youth focused with a penchant for the edgy, which is why you see which is why you see GT Bank having a lot of events that are not just about banking, but it's about what people are interested in. There's the GT Bank Food and Drink Festival. There is the GT Bank Fashion Week. All these events are not essentially about banks. They're just about engaging with the lifestyle of people. And GT Bank has evolved itself into a type of lifestyle brand that people can easily key into. The Indani TV asset that GT Bank has is one of the most popular online content asset in Nigeria, and they built that over years. And one of the brand story that comes through the brand story that comes through from what GT Bank does online is just that youth focus, the edginess of the brand really comes through that. Another example is Apple. Apple is one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and what stands out whenever they're talking is the fact that this is a radically innovative brand that is all about creativity. Even their tagline says it all. The very first ad in the world says, "Do it different." And you hear that as a creative, you say, "Look, this vibes with me." And that is what a brand story does. It allows people to connect with you on a visceral level, such that people feel like this brand is for me. And social allows you to reinforce that every single time, such that by the time people are done consuming your content, they feel like they just need to be part of your community. And that's one of the things we'll be able to do at the end of this class. Now, when your brand story meets social media, what happens? It means you can connect with your audience in an authentic way. It means you know what your audience are most passionate about, and then you can talk about the same thing that they are passionate about, and then be able to, as the young ones say these days, vibe with them, right? You can also build consistent, consumable content that reinforces your brand. We've talked about this before. It is easy and cheap, pretty much free, to share your brand and to share your story and to share your communication on social media. So you can do this consistently by sharing what people want and want to consume on the internet. And also humanize your brand. All of these things that we do online goes beyond B2B or C2C. And the long run, it's just about human to human connection. When you as a brand are able to say there are real humans with real feelings at the other end of the screen, it allows you to just connect with them, share the things that they care about, and on the long run, they trust your brand enough to say, you know what, I'm going to buy this brand's product. Now, let's go quickly into the key social media platforms that we'll be looking at for this platform. Now, we have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. While we'll be focusing on the three, which is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it will be good to know what all this can be used for, what all this platform can be used for. When it comes to Facebook, one of the key things that Facebook does for you is to allow you to reach more people and just generally generate awareness about your brand. And one of the reasons why is because Facebook is one of the most popular platforms in the world, perhaps the most popular social media platform in the world. Facebook, for most people, is the first platform that they opened. Now, there are a lot of platforms before Facebook came into play, but Facebook has managed to own that social media space. As a matter of fact, for some people, Facebook is the internet, right? Because that is the only thing they've ever known. And if you want to reach out to anyone in any part of the world, in any part of Nigeria, Facebook is the platform to use. Twitter is more for real-time engagement and conversations. So let's say you want to, be a part of a trend that is going on across the world. Let's say the World Cup, for instance, the 2018 World Cup. If you want to be part of the real-time conversation going on, Twitter is the place for you. You can just join hashtags and just contribute to the conversations going on. And oftentimes you get a lot of engagement just by plugging into conversations that are already going on. Now, LinkedIn is more of a thought leadership. It's where people like to portray themselves as successful, maybe a bit more successful than they really are. But when you want to display thought leadership as a brand, or when you want to connect with a B2B audience, so to say, LinkedIn is where you want to be as a brand. Now, Instagram is a visual culture branding platform. It's all about telling your story in a very visual way. You're sharing pictures, you're sharing snippets about your brand, you're sharing behind the scene action of your brand, the new things that are happening in your brand that a lot of people really may not know about. Only the insiders might know. And that's really what Instagram allows you to do, to tell this visual, intimate story about your brand. Simply take your audience on a journey through what you are doing day to day in your company. And that's what all these platforms are. Now, before we move into discussing specifically what you can do with this platform and how we can use them, let's look quickly through hashtags. Now, hashtags are perhaps the most notorious aspect of social media. People use hashtags for pretty much anything. There are some hashtags that are almost as long as a paragraph. Now, one of the things you want to know is that hashtags, the only reason, the key reasons why they function, there are three core ones, but even those three core reasons can be compressed into one, which is to allow people track your messages online and also to allow you connect with other messages that are going on, other conversations that are going on in social media spaces. Now, the way they will improve your messaging as a brand is that they will definitely increase brand recall, especially when you have what we call branded hashtags. Now, an example of a branded hashtag would be the GT Bank Food and Drink Festival, right? In that hashtag, you see the brand GT Bank as part of the hashtag. If anyone is using this hashtag, you will see GT Bank as a brand also in that conversation. That is what we mean by branded hashtag. I've been in conversation where people think that branded hashtags are this hashtag that you have to reach out to Facebook or you have to reach out to Twitter to come up with. No, you can come up with them by yourself in your strategy session or during your brainstorming meeting with your staff members. Another thing that hashtags allow you to do is to reach and target new audiences. And one of the best ways to do this is to often look at the audience that you're trying to connect with and find the hashtags that they are using the most. Now, think of people who are excited about basketball. One of the hashtags that you hear them using is, of course, the basketball hashtag. Some of them using maybe Golden State Warriors hashtag. Some of them probably using the Game 7 hashtags. In Nigeria, some examples that people use, say people living in Lagos. You see a lot of people in Lagos using Lagos Life. Some people using Daily Lagos, which is one of the things that I actually use that a lot. Another hashtag that people use in Lagos is the Lagos Waka hashtag. And now all these hashtags, by contributing to those hashtags as a brand or by you using them as a brand, you can target not just your audience, but also audiences that you are interested in. And this is one of the key tricks about using social media. Let's say you figured out that most of the social media followers that you want to be talking with are also following another brand, right? Let's say some of the audiences that I want to speak with also follow. Say you are a new age clothing brand, right? And most of the people that you want to be talking with are also following a popular brand, say a Nike. One of the things you could do is to see some of the hashtags that Nike is using and begin to use some of them. You can, by doing this, connect to the same conversations that those people are connecting to and basically just find your way into their little bubble, into their little social bubble. Something else you want to do with hashtags is to begin and join brand relevant conversations. It's sort of similar to the last idea, which is when when you want to start conversations, you can use hashtags to allow people curate all the different legs of this campaign. Of this conversation. And one of such is shot on iPhone, which is one of the most popular hashtags in the world. Anyone that has an iPhone, whenever they take a picture with their phone, oftentimes you see them using the hashtag shot on iPhone. And what this allows them to do is to become a part of a global community of photographers that are taking pictures with their phones and sharing them online. Now, Apple used shot on iPhone to start a conversation, to start a trend about mobile photography. Now, you as a brand can have something similar to that and just start your own little conversation or a big conversation about your brand or an element of your brand that you think people will be interested in. Now, when it comes to using the right hashtag, you want to be careful about the hashtags that you use. One of the things you want to do is to only use relevant hashtags. Now, a lot of brands do this. When there is a popular event going on in the world, there is usually an hashtag, right? And some of them might be tempted to use that hashtag in order to just contribute to that conversation. Now, what they get wrong is not that they're contributing. Oftentimes, what they do is that they just create a generic post and then just lash on this hashtag onto it. There is no connection whatsoever. They're just taking this hashtag and just putting it into their content. Now, the best way to do this would be to find a relevant content that speaks to that topic. Say the wedding, the recent royal wedding in the UK. If you were, say, a shoe brand, like a local brand, the Kicks brand, which creates this super authentic and culture relevant shoes. Think of Nikes with Ankaras on them. That's what Kicks does. If Kicks wanted to connect to this story, it's not just about sharing their normal post and then putting royal wedding on it. Maybe they want to talk about, the Meghan Markle's shoes really does look like it could do with a bit of our own local coloring on it. That could be perhaps the only true African element at that wedding. If only she had talked to us earlier, maybe we could have been able to fix her up with one of fine shoes. And then they can follow that up with a creative of a kick shoe. And then by the time they use that hashtag, there is a real and true connection. Now, that is different from just saying our shoes are the best in the world. Look at them. And then they put a random royal wedding hashtag at the end of it. Now, that doesn't connect. So you want to make sure that you're not just using relevant hashtags, but even when you want to go out of your regular zone, you want to make sure that the content you're using is relevant to the existing conversations. Otherwise, people just think you're trying too hard, and then they begin to lose interest and trust in your brand. You also want to use brand hashtags for brand recall. We've talked about this before. Anyone that uses your hashtag that you've created with your brand name in it is mentioning your brand, which means there is more opportunity for your brand to get inserted into conversation again and again. Also, when you're using hashtags, you don't want to add spaces or punctuation. Usually what this do is to break the hashtag into pieces, and people will not really be able to make sense of what you're saying with your hashtag. Also, when the hashtag is a sentence, you want to capitalize appropriately. What we mean by a sentence is this. Say your hashtag is, say, look, even when it's not a sentence, think of, say, royal wedding. Whenever you see royal wedding, oftentimes you see the R capitalized and the W capitalized. It helps people to just make sense of it. It's a simple user experience scenario here, but it's something that you want to do to just make sure that engagement with your content is easy and smooth. And to find the best hashtags, there are some platforms that you can use, and the two most popular ones are RightTag and Webstagram. And now, there are so many of these platforms that you can find on the internet, but these are just the ones that we recommend, and you can take them for a spin. At rightag.com, you will find different hashtags that you can use just by popping in a certain word into the search bar there, and then you get ideas. Same for Webstagram. Now, before starting your social media strategy or starting your social media promotions, one of the things that you want to do is to do a bit of a social media audit. And this is what I mean by social media audit. Look at what your competitors are doing. Look at what you've done online so far, and begin to do a comparative analysis and really see what they are doing and what you are doing. And one of the things that this will allow you to do is to get an insight into competitors' activities. Now, if your competitors are doing things that you feel that you can do better, one of the things that you could do is to just find ways that you can do it better and simply do it better. And that actually leads into the next point, which is getting inspiration. You don't have to just draw inspiration from what your competitors are doing. You could also look at what is happening in the industry and try to get inspiration from that. Now, think of GT Bank, for instance. Now, GT Bank is hosting a food and drinks festival. GT Bank, to do better in the food and drink festival, may want to look at what other brands in the food and drinks vertical are doing. Think of the Eat Drink Lagos. You want to find someone from GT Bank researching what Eat Drink Lagos is doing, and that allows them to simply diversify their content and do newer and more refreshing things. Also, you can find about new ways to run your campaign just by doing social media audits. And this tracks back to the first idea, which is you can see what your competitors are doing and see how you can build on them, see the innovative ideas that they are bringing to the market, and see how you can maybe not just build on them, maybe do something different based on the things that they've gotten wrong. right? It could go both ways. Also, you can spot content gaps in your strategy just by looking at what other people have done. If after building your strategy, you see something else that someone has done and you figure, oh, this could be an interesting element of our strategy, you can easily import that into what you're doing. Alternatively, you could decide not to use whatever content that you are finding online with your competitors. Simply mash the ideas with another ideas that you've seen somewhere and simply put it together. And really, that is what innovation is all about. Oftentimes, about finding independent ideas, combining them, and turning them into something new. One of the three best products that I personally use and I recommend for using social media audit is TweetRich, Minter.io, and FanPage Karma. Now, TweetRich is perfect for Twitter, Minter for Instagram, and FanPage Karma for Facebook. Although FanPage Karma could also work for other platforms like Twitter and Instagram, but it does Facebook very well. Now, by logging into some of this platform, a few of them have, especially Minter.io and Facebook and FanPage Karma, they have a paid tier, but you can totally be fine with their free versions for your small business. Now that we are done covering the essentials, let's look at how we can use Facebook as a social media platform. First, we'll look at some of the tools that Facebook has given us as a brand to use its platform well. And there are four key ones that I think are perfect and brilliant for small businesses. One is milestone. One of the things that milestones allow you to do is to set key points in the existence of your business that is relevant, maybe not just relevant, but that can allow your audience to know you better. So milestones that you can set this up on your Facebook page would let people know, okay, this was where this business was found, this was when this business was founded, this was when they got acquired, this was when they acquired, say, a smaller business. You could say this was when a particular person resumed at the company. You could say, for instance, that this was the day that you made your first 1 million naira sale. This milestone usually just help people to better know your brand, and they feel they could get just a snippet, a snapshot of what your brand is about just by looking at your different milestones. It's a brilliant way to generate content without actually doing lots of copywriting for your brand. Another one is events. Now, offline events are powerful, not just for big businesses that can put millions of naira behind the budget, but also smaller businesses who can participate in community events going on within the vicinity where they work. Now, think of a business selling plantain with anything. Say a business who has its whole value tied around plantain, just selling plantain, which is something that lots of Nigerians, especially the younger ones, the millennials, are passionate about. A plantain focused brand, for instance, let's call this plantain brand Dodo Incorporated, could say go into a community from where they get their product from where they get their shipment of plantain bunch from, and in that community you have a sort of farmer outreach program, maybe where they are teaching the farmer kids how to be better at maths. Now that is a small event that the brand is having, and it's something that they can easily share on the internet or on social media. Now what they could do is to layer something else on it, is to maybe tell people that, look, we are going to this village on X day and you can join us to go to this village for this farmer outreach program that we're doing. Now what's going to happen is they can publish that event on Facebook and people can sign up to be a part of that event, and they can go together to this community and they can get a lot of content out of that event to share back on social media. But they have used social media to get the word out in the first place and also get people to sign up to the event. Something else that Facebook allows you to use is what is called Facebook Live. Now, Facebook Live is different. Now, let's just continue with the idea of this company, Dodo Incorporated, going to this community to do a farmer outreach, to work with the farmer kids to get better at maths or whatever subject that they might be interested in. Now you can use Facebook Live to document everything that you're doing, from leaving Lagos to getting to the community to speaking with the parents to actually working with the kids on the first day, working with the kids on the second day, and coming back to the town again. Now, Facebook Live is just a way to simply document what you're doing in real time. You can keep your phone all the time, just documenting all your conversations and everything you're doing. It's simply just a way to live stream whatever you're doing, and oftentimes this works perfect for events like the one that I've just mentioned. Another tool is Messenger. Now, Messenger is brilliant because it allows people to have conversations with the people that are reaching out to them on social media. Now, people don't have to call on the phone anymore. By simply adding a messenger button to a post that you're putting up on social media, you can begin to have conversations with them in real time. Now, there are different types of Facebook profiles that exist on Facebook, of course. There is the business profile, there is the profile, and then there is the page. There's the Facebook page. Now, a profile is what you as an individual could have. It's best for an individual. Oftentimes, you have to send a friend request, and it has a limited amount of friends that you can have. That number maxes out at 5,000. Also, you don't have access to insight into, say, how many people are coming to your page, what percentage of them are women, what percentage of them are men. Oftentimes, you just, they're conversing you're pretty much in the dark. And as a business, that is not where you want to be. What you want to have as a business is a business page or a Facebook page. Now, this allows you to get unique publishing tools, like tools that allow you to create canvas ads and tools that allow you to, say, create events. You cannot do that as an individual with just a profile. It can also be managed by many users when you have a business page, or many users or admins. It means that you could give, say, editor access to someone, or give advertiser access to someone else. This means that you can assign specific roles to people in your company to handle the different elements of your Facebook communication, instead of just having one person take over your whole page. And this is not the way it is with a profile. For a profile, you cannot maybe tell your mom to handle a different aspect of your profile, or tell your nephew to handle a different side of your profile. You cannot give people limited access. When they get access to everything pretty much. And for business page, you don't want to do that. You don't want to give someone access to your old business page. Also, you can get access to Facebook Insight and receive using the native reporting tool, which means that you can know what people are coming to your page, when they are coming to your page the most, what kind of content they like the most, which content is performing well on your page. And usually what these insights allow you to do is to just know the kind of content to develop, and the kind of audience that you want to be speaking to. Imagine if you were trying to speak with men and you're seeing more women on your page. Maybe that could even help you to figure out perhaps our product is more tuned to the female gender, and not to the male segment. So this could maybe even inform your business strategy as a whole. Now, when it comes to setting up your Facebook page, there are some important elements that you want to know before going to have your Facebook page up, and we'll just look at a few of them. The very first one is the cover photo, of course, which is the first thing that people see when they get to your page, because it's right there, big and bold at the center of your page on Facebook. And looking at this example that we have here, this Knorr page, right there on the front page, you have the banner that says Battle of Flavor, and that is the cover photo there. There's also an opportunity to have cover videos these days, and usually it's a bit more engaging when you have videos on there. And a lot of brands that work with agencies these days, and the brands that I work with now, use Facebook videos, because it creates what we call here at the agency word of mouth. People are looking and wondering what's going on here, so they're moving their mouse to really find out. The second element you want to look at is your profile picture, which is the element just there at the top. It is to my left here, the top left corner of the page. Also, the third thing you want to look at is the page name and handle, and that allows people to easily identify your page. Verified pages on Facebook usually have a blue check mark at their side, and this is really to let people know that, oh, this is the official page of this business. Any other page that you're seeing by this name is not the real business page and cannot speak for the business. And it's always brilliant when your page is verified on Facebook. The fourth thing you want to look at is the page URL. Now, the page URL would not be a big deal, but oftentimes when you're trying to share your Facebook page with people directly and you want them to come to your page, it might be nice to have a very simple page URL. If you look at this example here, it says facebook.com/Knorr Nigeria, and it's very memorable. You can easily remember that, and show people, and they can easily type that URL directly in their address bar, and then it will lead them here. The fifth thing you want to look at is a call to action button. Now, when people come to your page, you can easily direct them to something that they can do on your page immediately to connect with you. It could be anything from send a message to learn more to subscribe, and you can change that from your page. It's very easy to do. You just click on the edit button just below the cover photo, and you can be able to do that. And the sixth section is the about section that talks about where your business is located, your business website, and other essential information that people need to know about your business. Now that we know the different elements of Facebook, let's create a Facebook page for our businesses. To create your first Facebook business page, the first thing you're going to do is to log in into your personal Facebook profile. Now, I'm already logged in on this computer. I'm just going to type in my password, and I'm gonna be logged in. I want to mute this. Great. This is my personal Facebook. Now that I'm on this Facebook, my Facebook profile, I'll come to this icon here, and this downward facing arrow, and come to create page. When I click on create page, it will open a page that gives me two alternatives. I could create a page as a business or brand, or as a community or business figure. I will select this one. I'll enter my page name. Now we are still using the same company. This is Dodo Incorporated. So I'll just use that page name, category, food and beverage, and I'll continue. It's all pretty intuitive. If you've ever opened a regular Facebook account, then you can open a Facebook page for your business. So first, I'm going to upload a profile picture. I'm going to use my logo as a profile picture. Earlier, I already created this profile picture in with Canva. So I'm just going to find it on my Finder and import it. Next thing I'm going to do is to upload my cover photo. I also already created a cover photo with Canva, so I'm going to find it right here. There's my cover photo. Later on in this module, we're going to cover how to create designs with Canva. So don't worry that you don't know how to design with Canva yet. Now, there are different elements here that I could edit right away. I could change my profile picture if I want, or change my cover photo if I want. And right here, you will see that Facebook is already prompting me to do something, which is to invite some of my friends. But we don't want to do that right now. I just want to make some edits. I want to do two things. I'm going to change about my business. I want to add my business address and add some other details about my business. And also, I want to change the call to action button on my Facebook page. So, to change the call to action on my Facebook page, I will come here and click to add a button. And I want people to call me, right? So I'll click on contact you option, and I'll click on the radio button beside call now and click next. Next thing I'm going to do is to add my phone number. What are people going to call me on? First, I'll look for my extension, +234. I never find Nigeria the first time, but you can just scroll all the way down and you find Nigeria somewhere there. Element Nigeria. Where is Nigeria? Right there. And then I'll enter my cell phone. That's it. And then I'll save. It's all configured. I will finish. And now if someone were to click this and test this button, my phone is going to ring. Now we've done that, Next thing, we want to add some more details to our page. Where are we located? And when did the business start? So I'm going to click on About. I will scroll down to Edit Start Date. We'll just have here start date. Let's use founded, because it's a business, right? You just found it. We founded in 2018, July, just a random date, 28. And this is going to show on your page as a milestone. Also, I want to add my phone number, +234 8066 449 Also, I can enter other things like my email. Let me just come down to the most important thing, which is my address. So I'm going to okay, first let me change the bio, just a bit of a description by myself. Now, they seem to have moved where you can change your address from. So I'm going to find that very quickly. Brilliant, it's here. So I want to change my address, street address. So that is changed. Also, I want to, let them know we're always open. Or I could change it to, we are open at selected hours, and I'll just go ahead and change that. So we're good here. We're good. Let me just save changes, save changes. And that's it. Changes are saved and my page is ready. I can go back to my page now. And I will be on my home page. Now, my Facebook page is pretty much ready. The next thing I can begin to do now is to start posting. Later, we're going to talk about your content calendar. And usually it's when you've designed for your content calendar that you can begin to post consistently. But I'm just going to show you an example of how to post. And you see how it's just like posting on your normal Facebook profile. So let's just go on and welcome people. That's my text, and I can add an image. Just find a, let's say I want to use this picture. So I'll click on this. There's my picture. I'll open. It's going to upload. And when it's done uploading, I will click to publish. And now my first post is officially up on the page. That's how you open your Facebook page, and that's how you post on your Facebook. Now, the more you look around your Facebook page, the more you are able to do. If you come to publishing tools, you see other publishing opportunities that are open to you on Facebook. You will see here some types of posts you can put up. You can put up canvas posts, you can put up lead forms, you can also post branded content. This is just the sound library that you can use for your videos. You can put up expiring posts, you can schedule posts. The publishing tools allow you to do more with your Facebook page. Now look around, see what you like, and experiment with it. Now, we are done reading our Facebook page. One of the things you want to do is to post, of course. And there are two different ways that you can deliver your post on Facebook. The first and the simplest one is the organic way to deliver your post. And these are posts that can be published on your Facebook page for free. You don't have to put any media behind them. But the downside is that they often do not have as big a reach as you would want. As a matter of fact, organic reach on Facebook has reduced to about 2% for most brands. And this is because Facebook, two things. First, Facebook wants people to see brands, to see messages more from their friends and families, and not just messages from brands. And the reason why Facebook is doing this is really just for self-preservation. Imagine if you logged into Facebook and all you see are messages from brands, you'll probably not want to use Facebook again. So this is the reason why Facebook has optimized the platform to show you posts from friends and family. But also, Facebook really wants brands to pay to use the platform. So also, it's a business decision for Facebook. And usually the best way to get around this and to get more people to see your message is oftentimes by boosting this. And is oftentimes by boosting your post. And that is the other way to deliver your post on Facebook. You can oftentimes at the bottom of the post that you've of a post that you've shared, and if you've tried posting on the Facebook page that you created, you'll often see just that button there at the bottom right corner of the post that tells you to boost this post. Now you can click on that button, add your card to Facebook Ad Manager, and be able to boost this post. And what this will allow you to do is to reach a higher number of your audience, or another group of audience that you would like to reach. And oftentimes this audience will find this post on their newsfeed or any other site, any other section of Facebook that you would like your image to show. Now that you know the different ways that you can deliver your post on Facebook, you're not wondering what are the different types of posts that you can put up on Facebook. Now, the Facebook publishing tool allows you to put up different types of posts, right? Now, the most one of the easiest ones to put up, of course, is the text post on Facebook, or the link post. Other ones to put them up, you might need to actually go into the publishing tool to put them up. But oftentimes they all achieve different. They all help you achieve different elements of your business goals. Link posts oftentimes allow you to direct link back to your website, or simply just share your ideas on an existing content that is going on in the news. Now, Facebook may not be the best platform to do this, but oftentimes when you have a strong Facebook following, it's also great to use the platform to share your perspective on things going on around the world. Oftentimes Twitter or LinkedIn will be the best place to do that, but also Facebook is fine if you have a very strong following on there. Another type of post that you can put up are offers. You can always find them in the publishing tool on Facebook and share different offers with your followers. Another one is event, like we talked about earlier when we were talking about the different tools that Facebook give you to engage with your audience. using Facebook to reach out to your audience in order to get them to sign up to an event that you're having is always a good platform. Is always a good tactic to get people to attend your event. Another one is photo post. It's simply a text post, but with a media, which is a photograph attached to it. Another also is a video post, which is just a text post with a video attached to it. And all of this, you can find them just at the bottom of your Facebook text panel just by clicking to add a video. You can click on add a video, and then it takes you to your Finder if you're on Mac, or your Windows Explorer if you're on Windows, and then you can select the video or the photo that you want to add to your Facebook post and click publish, and it goes right to your audience. Now, what is a good Facebook post? What is a Facebook post that can get your audience to engage? You want it to be short. Now, a few people do like to read text, but that is a select few. Oftentimes, people are brought. You get people's attention by adding a bit of media to it, but we'll talk about that later. Even without media, a short Facebook post can get people's attention very quickly because it's short and they can get the gist of what you're saying very quickly, right? Two, it should also be relevant, because if the content is not relevant to your audience, oftentimes they will tune out. So one of the first things you want to do is to ask the question, what is my audience interested in? And then put that into the content that you're sharing to your audience. Also, you want to have a clear call to action. This may not necessarily be at the end of every content that you put up on Facebook, but in the select few, say some 50% of the posts that you put up, you want to have a call to action that tells people what to do next. CTA is short for call to action. The CTA could be anything from shop this dress on our website if you're a dress company. It could be follow this link to see our last event at X community, and this is oftentimes this are not high commitment call to actions. High commitment call to actions will go to anything from buy more to download our paper or anything like that. But oftentimes this low commitment call to action could really get people comfortable with clicking links that you finally share with them. And finally, media. You should have media input in the post that you share. Video does well on Facebook, but oftentimes you don't have the budget to shoot videos. You can just use pictures that you can design with any creative design tool. I'll be looking at one of them at the before the end of the class. Now, segueing from Facebook, let's look at Twitter very quickly. Now, Twitter enables users to send and read short messages and join relevant conversations in real time. Pretty much what we've talked about before. It's about seeing conversations that are going on and finding ways to join them, and Twitter is perfect for doing that. Twitter is the ultimate channel for plugging into any conversation wherever it's going on. Key features that you can use on Twitter to your advantage are some of the following. DMs is a key one, mostly because they allow businesses to easily engage with people following them in a way that is very personal. Now, DMs may have become a bit notorious among the young circle, but for a business, it really allows you to speak to your audience in a way that is more private, and people can usually use DMs on Twitter to follow up on other conversations that you've started online. Say, for instance, you shared something about a product that you're selling or a course that you as a business are leading. People can often come into your DMs to further discuss the details of the activity or the service or this product, and it's perfect for you to convert leads from Twitter. Now, timeline, you often hear it called TL, is simply the home of all conversations going on Twitter that you have signified interest in. Oftentimes, your timeline is composed of posts from your followers and the kind of conversations that they are retweeting or liking, and you'd often see all these posts come out on your timeline, which is just things that you might be interested in. And oftentimes when you sponsor ads on Twitter, which is what you'll do in the next section of social media marketing, when you sponsor ads on Twitter with Twitter cards, people would often find them on their own Twitter timeline. Your tweet deck isn't part of Twitter as much as it is a tool that Twitter allows you to use in order to effectively manage your Twitter, your presence on the social media platform. Now, Twitter can allow you to do a lot of things. It will allow you schedule posts. It will allow you to monitor conversations going on about your brand if you want. Oftentimes you can use, if you go to, if you simply search for TweetDeck on Google, you will see the link that goes to TweetDeck. And then this would, by logging into Twitter with your existing Twitter account, you can do things like monitor conversation around a particular topic. It could be your brand. You can set alerts such that whenever your brand is mentioned on Twitter, you can get notification, or you simply add a column on TweetDeck where you see all this conversation going on about your brand. You could also set up an alert for your competitor whenever someone is mentioning your competition in social. You would see it on your or on the column that you've set up for it in TweetDeck, and easily see what your competitor is up to next. Also, you can use geotagging in your post when you're posting. Just below tweet panel, you see an option that tells you to tag where you're posting from, and oftentimes that can allow you to key into hyper-local conversations going on in your community or in a new community that you want to be a part of. Also, moments is something that you can use to curate the most important bits of the internet. Right? You can create your own moment around a particular conversation topic, say the recent wedding, royal wedding. You can decide to create a moment around that, and people can browse it in the future. Also, image description, just simply just text that you can use to describe an image that you posted on Twitter. Connect is a Twitter tool that allows you to connect with people that are already existing on your contact. Say you have some emails that an email list of your businesses. By using Connect, you can connect. You can draw out the Twitter handles of these individuals, and it will allow you to connect with them on Twitter and begin conversations with them. Mute simply allows you to tune out of some conversations that you don't want to be a part of as a brand. Usually individuals use this mostly when they don't want to get movies spoiled for them. So a lot of people have watched a movie but you haven't watched it. Oftentimes you see people muting words around that movie so that the part of that movie doesn't get revealed to them before they would want to see the movie. Now as a brand, it's hard to imagine conversations that you don't want to be a part of. Usually the more you know, the better. But if there are some things that you as a brand don't want to know as a brand, you can use the mute tool to tune out of those conversations. Now that we've looked at the tools that you can use on Twitter, let's quickly look at what your page on Twitter would look like. Now we're using the sample of Lafarge Africa site, Lafarge Africa Twitter page on Twitter. The header photo, of course, exposes the most important thing about your brand. And if you look at this page that we're looking at, which is the Lafarge's page, you see that they have their cement, and of course their service truck, and their line, which is building better cities, all out there in the open, because the first thing that confronts you on Twitter. And again, you need to know that your Twitter, your social media pages are an extension of your brand. It's a way to tell your brand story. And for Lafarge, it's building better cities, and that is something that they're putting right there on their page. The second element there is this profile photo, and you can easily use your page, your company logo for this. The next thing you're looking at is your handle, which is one of the most key aspect of your Twitter presence. It is how people are going to find you on Twitter, and it is how you're going to contribute to conversations. It is how people are going to tag you in conversations that concerns you. And oftentimes it's good to know what people are saying. Just by going to the mentions tab of your Twitter, you can see what people are saying about you when they've tagged you. And when you use a tool like TweetDeck, which you talked about earlier, when you set it up such that whenever someone mentions your handle, you get a notification in a particular column, that would also help you. Even when people are not mentioning you, you can simply set a search term for your name on TweetDeck, and whenever someone mentions your name, even without tagging you, you're going to see that in TweetDeck. Now the fourth thing is your bio, which for some companies it could be quirky, but oftentimes it's just about what your brand is about and what you'll be doing, what you'll be using Twitter for in your brand storytelling. Now the fifth thing is the location. Where in the world are you? For Lafarge, of course, it's in Lagos. Website is the next thing you want to have there. And oftentimes, it could not be a website, it could just be a campaign page that you want to connect people to for your particular campaign that you're running. Another element of your page is the profile URL, which you'll find in the address bar. And this is what you can connect to other elements of data that you're doing. Say your email marketing, for instance, where you want people to come and follow you on social. You can easily put your link in the email marketing, in your email newsletter, and people can click through to follow you on Twitter. And the last thing is the theme color. It's a pretty subtle addition to your Twitter page, but it can really hint at a key element of your brand, which is, your color or a specific aspect of your brand that you want people to live with. And this you can see for Lafarge, there is a bit of a grayish color to their theme, and this is something that they intentionally customized to mimic the color of their cement. You see how they did that in a way that is not so in your face. And of course, any brand can do this. If you say sell strawberry, you share organically sealed strawberry and you deliver it to city centers, your theme color may be pinkish or a strawberry colored background for your Twitter. When you want to put out tweets that are optimized, and optimized tweets simply means that tweets that are getting lots of engagement, tweets that are reaching more people, and maybe possibly go viral, which is like the crown jewel of any brand that is on the internet. Now, just quickly to talk about virality. Now, it is not easy to get viral, but also you can't exactly say that there's a formula behind it, but usually all these elements here could easily add to your ability to go viral on Twitter. Now, the first thing is that you want it to be straight to the point. You want your post to be straight to the point. What this means is that you really don't want to ramble when it comes to posting on Twitter, because Twitter is a platform that always has something to say. And if you spend too much time trying to get to the point, people would often just swipe by and go to other content that they think is relevant to them. And by saying that relevancy, I think we've touched on something very important, which is, how topical your content is. Now, topical content, sharing topical content doesn't mean that you have to share topics that people are talking about right then. But it could simply be your comment on something that you think will be relevant to a lot of people, right? Topical here could easily qualify for relevancy. And again, you want to make sure that it's something that people are interested in, and you want to say it in a way that is short, sharp, and straight to the point. Also, you want to add a clear call to action. Similar to what we had on Facebook, you want to leave people with something that you want them to do right after. Now, you may not be able to do this in all posts, but in at least 40-50% of the posts that you're posting out there, you want to have a call to action that people can do right after. So there are soft call to actions like we talked about, which could be just follow this link to learn more, or just follow this link to see what we're doing, to hard ones like buy now, or buy this shirt, or download our ebook. Now, regarding hashtags, when it comes to data, you don't want to use a bunch of hashtags. You probably just want to limit it to 2 or less, for 2 reasons basically. One is that Twitter really doesn't allow you to add too much text. So if it allows you to, Twitter generally allows you to add just 240 characters. Now, you don't want to use that limited real estate to add too many hashtags, right? Which is why 2 hashtags makes sense. Also, something else, one of the reasons why it's also key to use maybe 2 hashtags or less is to simply just make sure that your conversation is not a user experience nightmare for people who are coming on Twitter. If you have a post that has say 5, 6, 7 hashtags on Twitter, people really are not able to make sense of what you're saying. I would often just scroll by. So you don't want them doing that, and you don't want to spoil that experience for people on Twitter as well. Also, you want to use multimedia. Post with media on Twitter or across any social platform whatsoever generally get more engagement than posts without media. Up to about 150% more engagement are given to posts with multimedia than posts without. And by multimedia here we mean pictures and videos and other elements that are more than text. You also want to add geolocation data to Twitch, which allows you to contribute to hyperlocal conversations going on in your community or a community that you want to be a part of. And also, you want to tweet in existing conversations. This is an interesting tactic that you can use to get a lot of eyeballs to your content. Now, one of the things that a brand might want to do is to simply retweet a text that they think their audience might be interested in. But In addition to retweeting, you could also leave a reply on that tweet, which means that everybody that is already seeing that content, when they are reading through the thread, which is what a lot of people do, they would see your content, and if it resonates with them, they would often like or retweet it. But if you simply retweeted that content on your own page, you limit the reach to people that are following you ardently. And you don't want to do that. You want to reach as many audience as possible. So don't only retweet, also tweet in a reply to existing conversations. Instagram is more visual. It's a visual storytelling platform for communicating moments and sharing lifestyle of your brand. Now, it may not be lifestyle of your brand. It could even be lifestyle of people who work in your brand. One of the campaigns that we're currently running for a brand right now is called A Day in the Life of. And this campaign simply follows employees of the company to different things that they're doing during the day while they're in the office. It could be something from getting a cup of coffee to going to their lounge that is just overlooking the Atlantic. It could be anything, just conveying the lifestyle of the people. And actually what this does, while they are using it for employee branding, it could also help to let their customers know, how much interesting the people who are working for them are. And oftentimes this could, lead to client confidence as well. So the Instagram could be a platform that you can use for pretty much anything, but it's very visual. Some key terms that you often hear people throwing about, and you also might want to start talking about, is some of this. There is what is called activity feed, and your activity feed is simply what. Oh my God, I've forgotten activity feed. Okay, great, I remember now. Your activity feed is simply it's similar to what you call your timeline in Twitter. It is simply that page where you get to, where you see what your followers are sharing and also see what you are sharing on Instagram. And oftentimes it's a great place to just see to get your finger on the pulse of what people are talking about generally. But there is even a bigger element to that in search and explore, which allows you to see what people all over the world are sharing. But oftentimes what you see in search and explore are what you are what you're interested in. Your search and explore tab is filled with content similar to the content that you've engaged with before in the past. And oftentimes it's a way to find other content that are trending across the world. And if you're the kind of brand that likes to plug in into trending topic, it's a good place to get that kind of content and reshare them on your own page, or simply just leave comments on them, or simply borrow their hashtags to create specific content for your own brand. Something else that you hear people talk about a lot is filters on Instagram. Now, filters are just those things that you use on Instagram to make your pictures pop. It makes your picture a bit more professional looking, and that was the key unique selling proposition of Instagram when it started many years ago. And also, there are what we call Instagram stories. Now, Instagram stories are like Facebook Live, but what they allow you to do is to just share snippets of your day or snippets of your company using video. And to share an Instagram story, it's very easy. You just go to your own profile page, or there you'll see a camera to the top left corner of your mobile phone. You can click on it, and then you'll be able to record and share an Instagram story. And there are a lot of things that you can do in the Instagram story with the Instagram story feature on your page. You can do a boomerang, you can do a super zoom. Oftentimes there's a very they're very intuitive to use, and you can simply pick up something and run with it to long it fits with your brand. Something else that you do on Instagram is what is called regram. Now, regram is like retweets, but for Instagram. And to be able to regram, you can download a third-party app like Regram that allows you to see other people's picture and reshare them on your page without having to download the copy separately, download the image separately, and repost them. Regram simply takes this post and repost them on your own page. But one of the things that you want to know when regramming is that you do not want to change other people's content or take credit for other people's content, which means that you want to credit them when you reshare their post on Instagram. The last thing to look at when on the key terms of Instagram is Instagram Live. Now, Instagram Live allows you to do what you would do with a Facebook Live, which is to live stream your content. If you're at an event, you could simply turn on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and then use that to share your content in real time to people that are following you. Now, almost similar to Facebook, there are two types of profiles that you can have on Instagram. You have your personal profile and you also have your business profile. For a personal profile, it is easy to get discovered simply because oftentimes you can see people that are following people similar to you or friends from Facebook, and you can have that on Instagram. It's one of the perks of having a personal account, but it's not so different for a business account either. Also, communication on a personal profile is a bit more robust. At least as at the time of this recording, there are more options to communicate in the Instagram DM for personal profile pages than you have for business pages on Instagram. For personal Instagram pages, you can say reply a post with a picture, and that's not really there right now for business pages. But you get more things when you also have a business page account. One of those things is recognition. Riggers can see that you're a business, and that's one of the things that actually gives people confidence that, okay, this is a profile that I can talk to about a serious business. It also gives you additional profile options, including contact info and call to action. People can see your email right there on your profile. They can see, they can get directions to your place, or they can see a call to action to call you. And when they click on that button, they can get your mobile detail and call you straight up. It's a very easy way to get people to start engaging with you immediately. Also, you can run promotions on Instagram when you have a business page than when you have a personal page. It's not possible to run promotions when you have a personal page. Of course, as a business, you want to have a business page. Even as individuals, you might want to consider having a business page because it simply gives you more options when it comes to exploring and using Instagram. When you set up your Instagram account, which is easy to do, just go to your to your Apple Store on your iPhone, or to the Play Store on your Android phone, and download the Instagram app. You can sign up with Facebook or create an account from scratch. But when you do have one, optimizing your account means you want to use a business account to start with. Don't go for a personal account, use a business account. You have more tools to play with. Also, you want to tie your account name to your business name. You don't want to have a business name that is vastly different from your business name. Even in the case that your business handle may have been picked on Instagram, you can easily add some words to the end of it. Now, let's say your business is Dodo Incorporated. Now, it's possible that Dodo Incorporated has been picked on Instagram as an handle, so you could add some elements to it. You could say Dodo Incorporated NG. You could say The Real Dodo Incorporated. You could say official Dodo.ng. Anything you want to use, just make sure that it ties to your brand, and when people see it, they immediately connect it back and say, oh, that is the same Dodo Incorporated that is on Twitter. Also, you want to use a simple profile picture. Oftentimes, just settle for your logo. You can never go wrong with your logo. Also, you want to write a clear bio and add hashtags for discoverability. Oftentimes, when people are looking for hashtag and they click on that hashtag, your profile will come up if it's relevant to that hashtag. It's just a key. It's just a simple thing that you can use to be a part of broader conversations around your industry. Now that your profile is set up on Instagram, some of the things that you want to do when you're posting are the following. You want to keep your captions short. Now, some brands actually use their captions as a bit of a storytelling platform. Now, you can certainly do this, but when you're starting, try to keep the captions short. Oftentimes, this is not overwhelming for you, and you can easily just cook up something immediately and share on Instagram. We are still going to talk about your content calendar, so just keep your fingers crossed on that one. But as a starting point, the default mode are short captions. Don't go for too long storytelling sentiment. Just keep it short and straight to the point. Also, do not use too many hashtags. Kind of like similar to Twitter. But one of the things that also happens when you use too many hashtags on Twitter is what we call shadow ban. When you use too many hashtags, oftentimes Instagram will intentionally not display your content that you've used this hashtag on, simply because they know that your content is not relevant to that hashtag that you've used. So they simply just shadow ban you from showing up when people search for these hashtags. Also, on your creative, you want to ensure that your logo is visible. It does not blend into the content, into the creative source, that it becomes invisible, but people see your logo, so that whenever anyone shares this content, your logo is visible and people can easily recall your brand. Also, use emojis. People love emojis. I love emojis. You want to use good quality images and videos for your Instagram, because Instagram is a visual platform. What stops people's thumb from scrolling through your content onto the next content is how compelling the images are. So you want to spend a lot of time making sure that your content works. And when we speak of content here, we're talking about 95% multimedia content. You can easily knock up any caption that you want, a caption that works, but just make sure that the imagery is fantastic. Also, you want to post unexpected moments and behind the scenes content that showcases your people. Now, oftentimes you want to use Instagram stories for this, because it allows you to just, bring people along on your brand journey. And oftentimes, the more you do that, the more people believe in your brand and the more strongly they feel about what you're doing. And those are the kind of customers you're looking for. People who are reasonably faithful to your brand, such that they will buy anything you put in front of them. Also, you want to post consistently. The point explains itself. The more consistently you post, the better you can engage with your audience, and the better brand recall that you would have when it comes to the to your brand positioning in the marketplace. Also, you want to add a CTA across all platforms. It's always good to have a call to action. What next do you want people to do? Although it's a bit tricky on Instagram, because you cannot add links into the content that you're sharing, but oftentimes by linking people back to your bio, by redirecting people to your bio and telling them to click the link on your bio, you can easily scale that challenge. Also, there is a fantastic tool that works in terms of allowing you to add multiple links to your Instagram bio. It's called Linktree. That is link.tree. This can allow you to add multiple content to your Instagram bio, and it's very wonderful, especially when you're trying to promote multiple things at the same time. When it comes to using Instagram stories is one of the key tools in your arsenal, right? Because with Instagram stories, you can easily post content that may disappear that will certainly disappear in about 24 hours, but also it can allow you to keep up with a stream of consciousness kind of post, instead of just flooding people's timelines. Because one of the things that people really hate when it comes to Instagram is a brand that is flooding their timelines. Usually the way they respond is by simply unfollowing you, and you don't want that. So you want to use more of Instagram to show authenticity in your brand. You can have a more real-time conversation with a real-time ongoing conversation with your followers by using Instagram stories. Also, you want to use social influencers with your Instagram stories. What this can allow you to do, and one of the best ways that agencies have used this, is to have Instagram come and take over their Instagram pages. But they're not literally taking over their Instagram pages. Oftentimes you have them in the Instagram stories, just sharing real-time content with the followers. Oftentimes these influencers go live. Something that we recently have was a campaign that we did for a baby focused brand, where an influencer that is very popular among mothers came on the brand's page and simply engaged mothers on the best way that they can have fun with their kids for Children's Day, and it simply blew up engagement on our client's page when we used it. Also, you want to create Instagram centric content, and this simply means content that only exists, or that primarily exists on Instagram, and most of these are usually just behind the scenes content that you can share with your company insiders. Also, you want to use native platform tools. One of the cool things about Instagram are the editing features that it has. Just by swiping your screen through the Instagram stories, where you can just see some editing filters get applied to your videos or to your pictures, and this usually make your videos come out very well. Also, you want to add boomerangs. You just use some of these tools that exist at that bottom panel of your Instagram stories. By scrolling left or right, you can see some of these options, and they give you different creative containers to put your content in. Also, you want to mention people, and Instagram stories allow you to mention people these days. When people started using Instagram stories, that feature wasn't there, but now it's there. You can mention anyone that exists in your story. Also, you want to include a CMOL link. If you had more than 10,000 followers on your page, you have the opportunity to link to content that exists outside of Instagram, and that is powerful for if you want to drive traffic back to a segment on your page, on your web page. Also, you want to have clear narratives for events. If you're going out, say you're having an event, like we talked about earlier for the company, Dodo Incorporated, if you're going out for a community event, you can easily use your Instagram story to bring people along. But oftentimes, you always have a general idea of how you want the story to progress. Also, like in all content, have a clear call to action. What are people going to do next? Perhaps if you remember anything from this session, remember that never leave most of your content without a call to action. Make sure that they have call to action. What you want people to do after they've consumed the content. Now, posting on social generally would follow a particular trend, a particular flow of actions, and this applies to whatever social platform you're using, from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter to LinkedIn to Snapchat, even to the new platforms that we're yet to hear about. All these steps must be followed to the T, and the first thing you want to do is to create a content calendar. We're going to look at all these things one after the other, but we'll just quickly explain them fully. A content calendar is simply a plan of all the content that you want to put out over a specific time frame. It could be a week, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months. You don't want to go for a year because social media is very dynamic, and you want to make sure that you are responding to changing trends on social media. Also, you want to take pictures, be visual, so you can commission a photographer to take pictures for you, and if you're not able to do that, you can do the next element, which is to create graphics using Canva. You can combine Canva with so many platforms that exist out there that gives you free pictures. One of the most popular ones that I love to use personally is called Unsplash. You can get pictures from Unsplash and use them in Canva, and we're going to try our hands on this before the end of the module. Also, you want to use editing tools like Quick for videos. When you record a video, you can use Quick to simply edit it on your mobile and see the way it works. You can go to Apple Store on your iPhone or to Play Store on your Android phone to download the Quick Video app. Quick Video app was actually launched by GoPro, and if you download Quick Video app, you can use that to edit videos easily. It is very smooth. It will make you look like a real professional when you use it. And we'll spend a bit of time on content calendar very quickly. One of the key elements that you want to have in your content calendar are the following. You want to have your content pillar. You want to have content across the different platforms. You want to have a section for the creative that will go along with that content. And also you want to have the posting time for that content. Whatever social media calendar that you have or a content calendar that you have, whatever it is going to have all these elements. Now, you don't need to have all of this, but you need to make sure. You want to make sure that you have the day that the content is going out, what content is going out, and the creative that will accompany it. Never post without having a social content calendar. It's very key. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed few weeks into your content posting. Now, if you want to, there is a sample that we have used there, and to get access to the sample, you can go to bit.ly/WDC social, and you get access to this particular calendar that you can see on the screen. Now, whenever you're sharing on social, you want to start with your content pillars. And I'll spend a few times trying to explain what content pillar is. Now, a content pillar oftentimes is just an element of conversation that your brand can key into. Now, a lot of different brands have different content pillars, but by having content pillars, you can easily have different themes that your brand can key into. So let's use our fictitious brand, Dodo Incorporated. What are things that someone who is interested in plantain-heavy diet would also be interested in on the side? So you probably want to look at, say, carb diet, for instance, or you want to look at content around feed farm, if that is something that you think a lot of your audience are interested in. So for content pillars for a brand like this, you may have feed farm, you may have Lagos lifestyle, because of course the platform is in the company is in Lagos and wants to take advantage of the spirit of the city to connect with the people who are consuming its content. You could also look at, say, Africa. as a content pillar. What are the conversations around Africa, and how can we contribute to those conversations? You could also look at the brand itself, which is Dodo Incorporated. You could share your brand story, the people who works at your brand, and you could have 4 content pillars like that. And you could say that for the next 1 month, we are going to talk about those 4 things. What it means is that it creatively narrows you in a way that you don't feel overwhelmed by all the possibilities out there. And after a month, you can simply say that, you know what, let's talk about a series of other things. And oftentimes, brands do this, changing their content pillars from time to time. But oftentimes, you want to make sure that your content pillars are relevant to your brand. Now, creating images on for your social is made easy with a platform like Canva. Now, if you're a real professional, you should use platform like Photoshop. Actually, you should use Photoshop or whatever other platforms are there. When it comes to creating graphics for social, Canva makes your job easy. But if you're a real professional, you probably want to be using a platform like Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or whatever other platform that catches your fancy. But if you're a beginner and you really do not have any experience when it comes to designing things, Canva is your go-to platform. And I'm going to show you a few ways that you can use Canva to design graphics for your page. And one of the things that graphics do, and we've talked about this, is that multimedia content get more engagement on social, way better than content that is just text alone. Your designs and your creatives are important in how people, in increasing the engagement for your Facebook page or any page for that matter. And with Canva, you can create very simple designs very easily without having the knowledge of Photoshop or Adobe After Effects or Adobe Illustrator or InDesign. And I'm going to show you how to do it. To design on Canva, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is to create a Canva account. To create a Canva account, you just come here to this section and pick, what you are. Maybe you are an education company, a teacher or a student, you're a non-for-profit, a large company, you're a small business, so pick on this one. And when you picked on this, you sign up with Google, and it is just intuitive from that point on. I already have an account, so I won't have to sign up anymore. I would just come here to log in, and I would log in with Google. Logging with Google makes it really easy for you to just log in. You can just use one password across most of the platforms that you use. So I'm going to log in with this. And I'm going to enter my password. And I'm in. Now, if you're logging in for the first time, you're not going to see anything here on your homepage. It's going to be empty. You're going to see some directions on how to use Canva. But I've been using Canva for years, almost 4 years now. So I've done a lot on Canva. So I can see all of the things that I've done in the past, right? But to create a new design, it is very easy. Now just come here to this plus sign here, click on it. And depending on the sort of creative that you want to design, you will pick here. If you want to design a Twitter post, you can click on this one. If you want to design a presentation, you can click on this. I design presentations a lot on Canva, and I just love the templates and how I can use them. If you want to create a book cover, you can use this. You want to create an infographic, you can use this. And there are templates that you can easily edit. What we want to do for this example is to create a sample post for a Facebook post. So I'm going to click Instagram post. Now, the reason that I've clicked Instagram post is because the 1080 by 1080 dimensions of Instagram post can work across most of the popular platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. Although LinkedIn might cut out the top and the bottom of it. Not really cut out, but cover up the top and the bottom of it. But people will still be able to get the gist of your creative if you use 1080 by 1080p. But 1080 by 1080 pixels. But if you were to use something else, maybe the original LinkedIn dimensions, original Twitter dimensions, it will be tricky using them on other platforms. So that is just a trick there if you do not want to make different creatives for different platforms. Now let's try to create something. We'll still work with our fictional company Dodo.ng, the Dodo Incorporated, and we want to create a design that lets people know that maybe just know places where they can get you from or where your address is. Okay, and we're going to do that with Canva. Now to your left there are a lot of templates that you can edit to meet your needs, right? And that's what we're going to do. Let's find a template that brilliant. Okay, I was going to use this one, but it's not. I'm not really. I don't see yet how it will work for me, so I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to try to find something else that just fits. Ah, brilliant, brilliant. So I wanted to use this one, but I can see here, this dollar sign here lets me know that it's, you know, what's the word? It's paid for. So I won't be able to use that. So this one, this is fine. I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to click on it. Okay, click is not working. I'm just going to drag and drop. And I'm having a bit of trouble with the internet. Nice. So I drag and drop and it's here. Okay. Now I want to customize it to meet my needs. I want to talk about my company and then I want to talk about where they can find us, right? So I can just go ahead and change the text on this first of all. Okay. I will Control All and change the copy to something else. So the text on your creative is called a copy. So I'm going to change the copy to something else. I want to change it to, okay, there's a bit of a trouble with my internet, so I'm going to reload to make sure that I do not lose my progress. So Canva works in the cloud, so you have to be connected to the internet to be able to use it well. So it's not like Photoshop that you can use offline. It's one of the basic disadvantages of using Canva, but what you get is that it's really simple to use. I'll just highlight everything and change it to Dodo is all you need. Okay, let me see again. I think it looks better this way. Okay, and then I'll just change this to my address and about my business, Dodo Incorporated. Again, internet. So I'm just going to reload this very quickly to fix the internet downtime. Now this doesn't happen all the time. If you have good internet, you're fine, but today specifically the internet doesn't appear to be great, so I have to like reload all the time, but I think we'll be fine now. So again, I'll just double click and highlight, delete everything. Dodo is all you need. And I will change this right here and move this down to make it look good. And now that I'm done here, I'll just pull it down. Just pull the creative down. And for this section here, what I'm going to do with it is to change it to my address. I'll change this to my company. and then just put our address here, 205A 205. And actually, I think I'm going to add our website as well. You know, such that wherever anyone shares this creative and they want to find us, they can easily do that. So I want to add a new text layer on this. So I will come here to the side here and click on text. And when I click on text, I'll see alternatives that I can use. So there are some pre-formatted ones here that I can use. Or I could just come right here and drag and drop one of this onto my body and just type my website www.dodo.ng, and that will be my website. And I will come here to the top to change the text and align right. Remember, I'm just using the same template that I've used. I could change this font to the same font as this, so I'm going to click on this. When I click on it, I'll come here, I'll see the name of the font is Playfair Display, so I'm going to change it to the same thing. I'll click, highlight everything, come right here, find Playfair Display, brilliant, and click on it, and now they are the same font, right? The next thing I want to do is I want to change the background, right? I kind of have, picture of Dodo against the starry night, so I want to change it to something similar. So the best platform that I use in conjunction with Canva when I'm doing designs is called Unsplash. On Unsplash, you're going to find lots and lots of free photographs. There are other platforms like this strewn across the internet. There is Death to the Stock Photo, there is Pexels, there is Pixabay that gives you a couple of free pictures in addition to some paid ones. But generally, you'll find a lot of good pictures on Unsplash. So now I'm going to type plantain, see what I get. So this is there are lots of pictures of banana here, but this is looking actually like a good plantain. This is looking like, honey glazed fried plantain with oatmeal. Oh, I love oatmeal though. Oatmeal is one of like my best meal ever. So but I've never tried this one before, so I'm gonna try it soon. So I'm gonna just download this, or click to download. Also, you can give credit to the owner of the picture. I love to give credit a lot. So for this class, I'm also going to give credit. So I will copy this and I'll use it later. I'll just click on this to copy and I'll use it later in the Instagram post design. So what I want to do is I want to use this image that I've just downloaded as the background on this mate. So on this creative that I'm designing. So I'm going to delete this background. And I will drag this onto this edge here to upload it. Now it's going to upload. And you'll often see a bar, but it looks like it's already uploaded. So I'm just going to drag it here and drop it. Now it's loading. Fantastic. So it's only now. You notice that it's not pixelated anymore. But you've seen a bit of a problem here. It's that sorry, 1 minute. Is that everything seems all over the place, right? What I want is for this plate to be this plate here to be on one side and for the text to be on another side, right? So that they're not battling for the screen real estate. And to do that, I'm going to double click on the creative on the picture. Double click, and then I will drag it to the side like so. Let's see what we have now. I've dragged it. I'll click on the check sign. It's looking good, but not as good as I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this picture bigger, make it bigger, and then I'll drag again. I think we should have a pretty decent cut of the edge now. It's still not as good as I want it to look, so I'm going to expand it even more and drag it down. This should be perfect. I'm sure this will be perfect. I've dragged it, I'll click OK again, and yeah, it's perfect. It's pretty good. I'm just gonna add one last touch to it, one last drag to it. And one of the good things about downloading from Unsplash is that all the images are high resolution. So you have, lots of you have enough, a really long line in how long you can stretch your images. So I think this should be perfect. 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 So now I'm just going to change the color on this. I'm going to Control All. I'm going to change the color. I'll click on this. I think I'm going to change to this plantain looking yellow. Does it work? No, not really. It's not working. I want to find a color that works. I like this. I quite like this. I didn't think that black was going to work, but it is working. So I'll come on this and also change the, I could change it to this. It should work on this one. It's big, the text is big, so I want to reduce it a bit. I'll come here, just change to 28, change to 24. Good. And then I'll drag it to the bottom instead of the top. I'll bring Dodo Incorporated down here as well, and I'll change the color also to the semi-yellow. Okay, no, that's not going to work, so I'll bring it to, yeah, I think this shade of black works. Let me see if that same shade is going to work on this. Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So that's it, and I'm going to increase it. I'll increase it to 104 and just drag it here to the edge of it. Fantastic. Now this is all looking very good, but something still feels missing. It still feels like the text is blending into the background too much. So I'm going to click on the creative again and come to filter, just to make sure that the text, pops more. So I'll just do that and then do this. I want the text to really pop. I will reduce the brightness, increase the contrast, not too much, just enough. Actually, maybe I should be increasing brightness and not reducing it. So contrast, I'll just reduce the brightness. Okay, just increase the brightness a little bit, and this is actually giving me something that I did not think that I could get. And this is looking very good. This is actually looking great. I will double click and drag this down just a bit. Just, I don't know, I want to have more of this plantain. I want to have more of it in there. Brilliant, brilliant. I like this. So I'll move this up again. So again, these are just design choices that you'll have to make for yourself. I really like how this is looking. I was telling you, I love what we've done here. And just in a few minutes. So that is that. I'm done creating this. Remember, I have a logo, right? So let me, drag my logo in there as well. Let me find my logo here. Downloads. Brilliant. This is my logo. So I want to drag and drop. It. Just going to drop it here for it to upload. It's uploading right here. So it's done uploading. I'm going to drag it. Just want to put it right on the edge of things. I don't want it to take over the page. I just want it to be right at the edge. Okay, not take over the page, but just be there. That is my logo. And that is in. And we're all good. What next? Download. I'll come to the top right here. Click on download. I'm downloading it in the JPG format. I like JPG format, although they recommend PNG, but I love JPG. So click to download, and this is gonna download to my computer. That's it. It's downloading right here. Right? Now, if I want to use this creative on my Facebook or on my or any page at all I just need to do is to come to my Facebook, and I want to create a post. I'll come to my page. To publish, I'll come here. Dodo is all you need, and Dodo is all reserve. Come through and get 10% discount on your first order. Great. Next thing, I'm just gonna drag it and drop this here. I could either upload it or drag and drop it. Either way works. And that's it. I click publish. Oh, you see, I've posted this thing on Creative, but there's an I've posted it on Facebook, but there's an error here, and Dodo is all we serve. I missed the all. So good thing about Facebook, unlike Twitter, good thing about Facebook is like you can just edit, click to edit. Dodo is all we serve. Come through and get 10% off your first order. Right? I can add an hashtag. Hashtags are good. Plantain Nation or whatever our hashtag is. Okay. Dodo NG. Okay, and that's it. All done. All done. All done. And that's how you create. That's how you create designs on Canva, and that's how you post them to Facebook. Well done. Now, you've started sharing on social. You've started posting consistently. One of the things that will happen is that people will begin to engage with you. They'll be asking you questions. Mostly they'll be sharing things on your page as well, because social is a many-to-many conversation platform. It is not a one-to-many traditional platform. You will talk to people and they will talk to you back, which means you want to manage this community. And this brings us to our next segment of the model. When it comes to managing conversations, you want to do 4 things. You want to inspire engagement. By the content that you're sharing from the beginning, you want to give people an opportunity to engage with you. So let's say, for instance, the content says, hey, we're going to the community that imports where we get all our plantain from. Follow us. You could do that and simply let your people know where you're going to and what they should do next. What if you added another element to it? We are going to the community that supplies all our plantain. Follow us. Is there any part of the community that you would like to see specifically? Let us know. Now you're inviting them to tell you things instead of just consuming the content and going away. You see the nuance difference here, and it's not such a big thing to do. You can easily just tell yourself, look, after every post I put up, I will try to add a question that invites people to engage with me. And that is just what it means to inspire engagement. Also, you want to build loyalty through giveaway. And this is one of the best ways to actually keep the conversation going on your page. Now, this may seem a bit too tactical, but as a brand, you want to consider it because people love offers. On the long run, we are just people moving across the world trying to get the best out of it. And giveaway is one of the people to give people something that they would really like. One of the things that you want to make sure to do is to make sure that the item that you are giving away is hyper relevant to your audience. Now, if you were selling Dodo, you probably don't want to give people a free coupon to learn say JavaScript on Udemy. People are not interested in that. People interested in your content are not necessarily interested in that. Maybe what you want to give people is a free ticket to an intimate concert with, say, Asha or Brimo. Your kind of audience will be interested in that because, Lagosians do love Asha and Brimo. Also, you want to inspire adventure, and your brand story, you want to make sure that those combine together to, get people to want to, engage with your brand, go with you on the story that you're telling. When it comes to engaging with the younger demographic that are on social these days, you want to really try to key into their adventure spirit, and you want to try to inspire that in the kind of content that you push out. And finally, you want to inspire trust. When you share content, you don't want people to start doubting and saying, is that really true? Is that what the brand is doing? You want to make sure that you're 100% true at all times. Truth is very important. Immediately you break a trust, you cannot get it back, or it's quite hard to get it back when you lose it. Now, that is the end of the social media one slide, and thank you for joining us, and congratulations for completing this model. The next slide will show you different elements of digital marketing that you can add to your social media and truly make your digital marketing wonderful.